What's good, everybody? It's man Big Dom coming live now to another True Players podcast episode. I must say, you guys, I come on this podcast very angry right now. The reason I'm angry right now is because it just totally threw me off my topic of today. But your New York Mets right now are supposed to be fine for a freaking playoff spot. They're down 5-1 in the bottom of the fourth inning. Well, how can you come out in this game so fucking flat? Your starting pitcher only goes an inning and 2/3. It's pathetic. This team was 45-24 in June. Best team in baseball at that time. Now they're looking at as if they're not even going to make the playoffs. They don't deserve to be in the playoffs. That's how you show up? That's how David Peterson steps up to the mound and pitches the way he's pitching for an inning and 2/3? After Lindor gives you a early gift, a 1-0 leadoff home run, you're up 1-0, and that's that. And I mean, let me get on Mr. Juan Soto, who misplayed a fly ball, which opened the floodgates for them to get 5 runs in that bottom of the first inning. This is a $765 million guy. Let me get to you for a second, man. You get paid a lot of money to be a superstar. And what I've seen today is not superstar material. You're out there getting your stats, getting your 40 and 40, and call it and say you're gonna have a great season. You know, you didn't do nothing to help your team overcome what they need to overcome in order to make the playoffs. This is an embarrassment. This is probably the worst type of embarrassment I've seen since 2007. Up 7 games with 17 left to go. This is worse. This team was the best team in baseball in June. Now they're down 6-1 against the Cubs right now. You got Brazibaum pitching right now. Looks like you already gave up an extra run. So the Mets are now down 6-1. McNeil with a goofy ass throwing error, which enabled them to get a 6th run. This has been going on for the entire freaking week. Poor fundamental baseball, bad fielding, bad judgment on the base pass. Everything's going wrong on this team right now. This team does not deserve to be in the playoffs right now. Do not deserve to be in the playoffs right now. And I see Mets fans saying that they should fire David Stearns, they fire Mendoza. You know what? After what I just saw tonight, that should be an option on the table for Uncle Steve. That should be an option. It's pathetic. That's how you show up? We dealt with disappointment before with the Mets team, but this has got to be the worst. Worse than 2007. And they did it to themselves. The Mets team did it to themselves. And it's pathetic. You know, I waxed poetic for Carlos Mendoza for changing my mind about how I thought he wasn't the manager for the Mets. After seeing him taking this team to the National League Championship Series up to Game 6. It must be one special season for them to make it that far with that team. Maybe it was the chemistry that was messed up because David Stearns wanted Frankie Montas instead of Luis Severino. Maybe he didn't put in time to re-sign Jose Iglesias and then try to trade Jeff McNeil. They put out a lineup tonight to try to jumpstart this team offensively by putting Marte in left field and Nimmo in center field. Nimmo can barely throw the ball out there. Can't even throw the ball out there. This is worse than watching the Jets losing yesterday. This is worse than watching the Giants lose yesterday. This is bad. This is freaking bad. And part of my language on this podcast, so I have to get real with you. I watch this team every day. I watch the team was at the top peak of performance. Now, you're going to sit there and try to convince me as a Met fan saying that, Kodai Senga getting injured in June caused a downswing. No, I don't believe that. If you're a good pitcher and you get injured and you come back, you also lost your way. That means you're not a good pitcher. All great pitchers, whether they come back from injury or not, will find their way back to pitching on the same level they pitched before. And me I'm not trying to shit on Japanese pitching. All right, the Mets, the Japanese signing Japanese pitchers don't work for them. They need to stop. They need to stop even entertaining that. Stop entertaining signing Japanese pitchers. It doesn't work for the Mets. It doesn't work. So stop it, please. Enough with that. Trade Senga, get rid of him. Get a new season. Start off with the young kids as your top three, but you're gonna need veteran starting pitching to go with that. You're gonna need Uncle Steve has going to have to spend more money than he really had to if his general manager did the right thing by signing the right player. It's not about spending money; it's about signing the right player in this market. That's all it's all about. Signing the right player for this market. As Marte, I like Marte, man, for real. He comes up there every time he gets up for the bat, it's always a professional at bat with him. It's always been a professional at bat with him. And too bad this guy's going to end up, being on the team next season because he's one of the guys that can be expendable. But he comes up there no matter what atmosphere it is with him. He's coming out there to give you a professional at bat. Can I say that for Soto sometimes? Soto sometimes doesn't even run hard to first base. That's Little League 101. Little League 101. So enough with my rant now. I mean, Monty's on first base, nobody out. Let's see if they get things going. Maybe Jeff McNeil could make up for that stupid error that he made the other inning trying to turn a double play and try to get a 2-run home run, bring this shit back to 6-3. He pops out. Pathetic. Let me get to this podcast. Let me get to this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, both New York teams are 0-3. 0-3. I'm going to start with the Jets because the Jets played earlier on Sunday. Usually I start with my favorite my team last, but we get to the Jets first, in which a game that the Jets really came back from a large deficit. They took over the lead on a block punt by Will McDonald IV, which I was shocked they even had the audacity to come back because they did not play well the entire game, on both sides of the ball. Didn't play well on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, but the special teams really kicked it into high gear. Gave them the lead. They were up. They were up 27-26, a 1-point lead, with a minute and 49 seconds left. A minute and 49 seconds left, and all they had to do was keep. Lost my train. So keep Tampa Bay from getting to the 40-yard line for kicking a field goal, and his defense could not even do that. He couldn't shut the door. Mind you, Tyrod Taylor was horrible. He threw a bad pick six at the end of the half, just before halftime. It wasn't entirely his fault. Garrett Wilson, we give him big bucks, and all of a sudden he stops fighting for the. Stop fighting for the ball. Let that quarterback jump in front of him and take it back home for 6. When a quarterback is throwing that football, it was a bad throw, and he was under duress too. He threw a bad pass, but as a receiver, you got to protect your quarterback, and Garrett Wilson did not protect his quarterback on that. Did not. We lost Quincy Williams during that game, a big part of that defense. He's a big guy. He's a tackling machine. He's Quinton's brother, a big-time tackling machine, speed guy, speed linebacker. We lost him to a shoulder injury. We don't know if he's going to be able to play next week against against the Dolphins. I hope he can because the Jets have no depth in that linebacker room. They have no depth. No depth whatsoever. You know, we lost Sauce Gardner for the game. He's in concussion protocol right now. Just like Justin Fields is concussion protocol, he may not play next week against the Dolphins. And and on our cornerbacks is light. We don't have no depth there either. Michael Carter II took a step back this season. He's not the same nickel quarterback he was over the past couple of years. Excuse me. You know, after 3 weeks with the new defense coordinator Steve Wilks, this defense looks like shit. It's not good. It doesn't stop anybody. It doesn't get off the field on big third downs. So my question to you, Jet fans, is it time to start to think about replacing Steve Wilks? I know it's 3 weeks early, but keep in mind why I'm saying this, because with Jeff Ulbrich and Robert Saleh, there's one thing we can count on is the defense of this team. It's basically the same personnel. Outside of DJ Reed, it's basically the same personnel. As Lindor gets an RBI, ground out RBI, it seems like he's trying to win the game on his own. Ground out. It's all good, Lindor. We know you put in effort. But anyway, it seems like this defense was something that the Jets could rely upon. This team with Ulbrich and Saleh, except for the first year, was a top 10 defense. Was a top 10 defense. Albeit undisciplined at times with John Franklin Myers with the roughing the pass penalty on key third downs. Other than that, this was a top 10 defense. It's pretty much nearly the same cast outside of, like I said, DJ Reed and CJ Mosley. Maybe you need to call up CJ Mosley, see if he can still play. You're gonna need a linebacker. You're gonna need a linebacker against the Miami Dolphins. They're both 0-3. The fans in Miami is calling for Zach Wilson. I chuckle at that. Meanwhile, it's crazy. This is really crazy right now with the Jets right now. You can't call it. All they had to do, if you guys ask me, if I'm telling you guys, if you ask me what the Jets need to do to be 2-1, how about getting one defensive stop at the end of the game? One defensive stop. And this team is actually 2 defensive stops. This team is 2-1, except instead of 0-3. 2 defensive stops from being 2-1. And they didn't play the greatest. Probably the best game they played was the first game against Aaron Rodgers. They didn't play well against the Bills. That was definitely a loss. Definitely a loss. They didn't really play well against the Bucs until the fourth quarter when they made that comeback, and special teams pretty much helped them get the comeback. All right, that's what I'm talking about. The Pete Alonso, my man, that's my man right there, man. I love Pete. Pete Zoe. That's what I'm gonna call him. Pete Zoe. Uncle Steve need to figure out how to resign that man. They need to figure that out. Sorry, guys, I'm getting off track here. I'm watching the Met game as I'm doing this podcast. This is important. So, Tyrod Taylor goes for 26 for 36 for 197 yards, 2 TDs in that bad pick 6 before halftime. He was actually the best rusher in that game. And Garrett Wilson had 10 receptions for 84 yards and a TD and did not protect his quarterback before halftime on that same pick 6. Will McDonald didn't get a sack, but he did get that blocked field goal. And the way he was playing the field goals during that game, it looked like he was going to get a blocked field goal. Baker Mayfield, he did his thing, was big late in the game to win the game for the Bucs. 19 of 29 for 233 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 carries for 44 yards, And like I said, he led the winning drive with 1 minute and 40 seconds left of the game. Bucky Irvin had 25 carries for 66 yards. And Sterling Shepard of the ex-Giant had a big game for the Bucks. Key catches he had 4 receptions for 80 yards. He was like the guy on third down that Baker Mayfield was looking for to keep the drives going. And Emeka Egbuka, 6 receptions for 85 yards, stepped up due to the fact that Mike Evans injured his groin or his hamstring during that game. And Mike Evans, when they were relying on Mike Evans or Emeka or Sterling on Mr. Stevens, they were going after that. Whether it's Stevens or Carter, they were going after that. They were going to throw the ball to them. So, and I'm listening. I'm seeing some comments on Facebook about some Jets fans saying that Aaron Glenn celebrated too early when he was running down. He was running down the sideline and doing this dance. Let me tell you something. When your team is playing that bad, you get a big special teams play that enabled you to get the lead late in the fourth quarter. You should be celebrating. But that doesn't mean he stopped. He forgot that he still had to win the game. He didn't forget that his defense still had to go out there and close it out. His defense failed him. That's what happened. And I think the Mets just tied the game. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Nemo. That's what I'm talking about. Tie game 6-6. That's what I'm talking about. How they come on this podcast and yell at them to get them going. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, the defense let the New York Jets down. Period. And they're playing against Miami on Monday Night Football. This in a winnable game. This game is winnable for the New York Jets. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, Tyrod Taylor or Justin Fields. This is a winnable game. Miami's not playing as well as they are offensively. They do have some key guys out. I don't think Tyreek Hill is playing. And there's a few things. They still got the problem with I think they still got Ashane still playing, but the Jets do struggle against the running game, especially with Quincy Williams out. That running defense is going to get even worse. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the Giants. As you guys heard earlier today, Jackson Dart will officially be making his first start against the Chargers this coming Sunday. The fans yelled for it. The fans pleaded with it, and they got it now. All it took was Russell Wilson to have his only home game as starting quarterback and play bad, and guess what? They took him out. And this is about Brian Daboll keeping his job as well. Let's keep it a buck. Brian Daboll is trying to keep his job, and I get it. There was opportunities there, especially when you have Malik Neighbors, a receiver like Malik Neighbors, who I'm going to come out and say it as a Jet fan. He is turned out to be the best wide receiver in New York of what he can do. If you watch that game with the Kansas City Chiefs, how they were playing defense on them, they were playing bracket coverage on them. Sometimes he had 3 guys around him in a cloud coverage type situation. Double team in cloud coverage. Darius Slayton had some catches, but Wan'Dale Robinson had a big drop in that game. But Russell Wilson did not play well. 18 for 33, 160 yards, two INTs, and that was it for him. But I do think, by watching this game, the Giants found their running back in Cameron Scatterbo. I honestly do think they found their running back. You pair that up with Jackson Dart, 2 rookies, running back and quarterback. Now is now the prime positions on that team now. Prime positions. Let's see what happens. The Kansas City Chiefs did eke out this win. You know what I'm saying? They did eke it out. They got their first win of the season. We're The problem I had, which kind of changed during that game, though, when the Giants lost 22 to 9. What kind of messed up was Graham Gano, like he did last season, ends up injuring his body. He got injured again during the game, and I think that changed changed the trajectory of the game, in which they couldn't even use for extra points or field goals until after halftime. But yes, he came back and did kick some field goals after halftime, but that man's in pain. That man was in pain, total, unequivocally in pain, kicking those field goals. But guess what? He was the best option they had available. Because that punter could not kick no field goals. That's the guy they were using to kick field goals. But right now, the Giants have a tough task against the Chargers in MetLife Stadium this coming Sunday. A very tough task. You know what I'm saying? Tough. That Chargers team is good. Harbaugh got those boys playing well. The Giants defense have to be on point. Justin Herbert is official. He's official. And the Giants better be ready to play. Do I see them eking out a victory against the Chargers? No, I think they're going to go 0-4. I'm sorry, Giants fans. I think he's just going to go 0-4. As much as I want both New York teams to go 1-3 after next week, the Giants are going to 0-4. Especially when you got a rookie quarterback starting, he's making his first start. And you know that defense of the Chargers is pretty good. They roughed up Mahomes in week 1. So, Jackson Dart, be prepared to see a lot of blitzes. Let's see if you can handle it. Remember, you got a wide receiver that you could throw the ball to. You got a decent receiving core. Better than my Jets. You know what I'm saying? My Jets just has Garrett Wilson, and then everyone else you just fall off the wagon with the rest of them. Even though Lazard had a touchdown catch, which was he bobbled that shit. It wasn't really a catch. He bobbled that shit. But it is what it is, right? I'll take it. First 3 weeks of NFL football, and they got this situation has got me looking towards 2 weeks from now, the start of NBA training camp already. The Yankees doing their thing. It always seems that it's funny. As I talk a little bit about the Yankees, everyone talk about the Yankees is falling apart. Should we get rid of Volpe or is Cashman still the guy to do the job? Is Aaron Boone still the manager that the Yankees should be keeping? But guess what? The Yankees just keep going to the playoffs. Despite all that BS, the guys at ESPN, the guys at FAN, all this shit these guys are talking about. Guess what? The Yankees already punched their ticket to the playoffs and have an opportunity still to win the division. As we speak right now, still have an opportunity to win the division. Meanwhile, the Mets is floundering 45-24 in June, and you're going to miss the playoffs. Hate to put it out there. Even though the game is tied 6-6, we still got hope. I still believe. Just like I believe in Joe Hendry. But, I think believing in Joe Hendry is a safer bet than believing in the Mets right now. I'll tell you that much. Especially with Stanek on the mound. Jesus Christ. Stanek. Ryan Stanek. Sorry, guys. I'm jumping all around this podcast. I'm jumping all around because these Mets have done it to me all my life as a Met fan. That you always have to have your Rolaids ready when this team plays, especially during pennant time. And this has been the problem with the Mets the entire season, where the pitchers can't seem to not walk anybody. This team probably leads the league in walks. I'm exaggerating, but come on. Can at least someone? And the thing is that with all these pitchers, the bullpen guys, this team goes up. The pitchers go up 0-2 on the count and can't finish off the batter. When you get a zero when you up a 0-2 count, you got to finish off that batter. You can't let them get to 3-2 and then walk them. You can't do that. But this is what's going to have the Mets have to happen to the Mets. The Mets, in my opinion, have to win out and get some help. The Reds are playing the Pirates 3 games, which the Reds, all intents and purposes, should beat them. But they're down 4-2 right now. Then the Reds finish off against the Cubs. Maybe the Cubs could do us a solid by beating them. But even that's not safe because you got the Diamondbacks behind us, who also have a tiebreaker against us. That does not help either. So, did he foul the ball off? Oh, I thought he struck him out. Anyway. So, the Mets need a lot of help. I'm still hoping and praying that they still make the playoffs. Hoping and praying. Because that'll be a bad situation if you go from 45-24 to not making the playoffs. Heads would have to roll. Like I mentioned last week when I was doing what it takes to re-sign Pete. Re-signing Pete this offseason is paramount no matter how the season ends this season. No matter how the season ends, re-signing Pete Alonso is paramount. And then when you take care of Pete, you got to fix the starting pitching behind the 3 young guns, and get some insurance policies just in case one of the young guns falter. Get a security policy to make sure one of those young guns falter. But I think the best one is the best one out of the 3 is McLean. He has A+. He has 5 A+ pitches. 5 A+ pitches. That's a rarity. I just got news that Tyler McGill is going to be out for the remainder of this season and next season due to an ulnar tear in his elbow. He's getting Tommy John surgery. There goes one of your insurance policies out the window. I hope to have Matthew to join me on the podcast. I hope to join him because we can talk more in depth about New York Mets baseball as well as the beginning of training camp for the New York Knicks. Hope to have him soon. So we'll figure something out, and then we'll have the episode for you guys to talk about. But Cannings should be back next season, but he's coming back. He's going to be coming back off for Tommy John surgery as well, and he's going to be on a pitch count. All right. If the Mets don't make the playoffs, so they have an early exit, who's to blame? Is it Mendoza? Is it Stearns? Or is it both? From my standpoint right now, from what I'm seeing right now, it is both, and I'm going to tell you why. Stearns, during the training deadline, he seemed to be too focused on getting bullpen help and not getting help for starting pitching. In my opinion, that trade to San Francisco is not working out. I mean, he has some decent outings. Rooks had some decent outings, but I would rather have had Jose Butto in the bullpen or in the bullpen. At least he could do some spot starting for you. You know, I would rather have that. Not signing Stearns, not signing Severino. I'm gonna say it ad nauseum. The reason I say it ad nauseum is because Jose Severino has pitched in New York. He understands the pressure, and he endured through the pressure of pitching in New York. You'll bring in Frankie Montas, who had no idea how to pitch in New York. He looked scared, just like Haseley. Just as Haseley looked scared, and Phil Maton last year looked scared, and then it ends up injuring his elbow. Waste of money. Manaea, it seems like last year was a flash in the pan because he hasn't found his touch since then, despite the injuries that he got. I'm hoping for a rebound season from Manaea, but I'm of the opinion I can't rely on that. I cannot rely on that at all. Like I said, we lost Tyler McGill for the rest of the season and next season, so he won't be back till 2027. So the Mets have a lot of work to do, but I won't talk about it now because we still got a season. They tied it up thanks to Nimmo, 3-1 home run, came back. I'm a little bit calmer now, but still, they got to finish the job. Come back, win this game. They got to sweep. They got to sweep the Cubs. Not 2 out of 3. You got to go for a sweep. My hope is, I expect the Mets to be back in the third slot with a game lead going into the last 3 games against the Marlins. Which the Marlins, I tell you guys, nightmare. They're a nightmare for the Mets in this type of atmosphere. But that's my hope. So on that note, I'm going to end the podcast as I continue to go watch this baseball game. Hoping and praying the Mets come through. Before I go, I want to also mention that Andrew Thomas came back for the Giants, but he seems like he's on a snap count. So he can't really play the full game. They're bringing him back easy. If he can't play the full game, I don't know why he's in the game, to be honest with you. But that's for you, Giants fans to hit me up on next podcast. So on that note, I'm gonna end the podcast. You can subscribe to my podcast on YouTube. Please, I'm trying to build up my subscribers to at least 100 before the end of the football season. Get me up to 100 guys. You can do it. Share this podcast with your friends. Tell your friends about the podcast. Looking for some co-hosts, and also whatever ideas you got. Any feedback, definitely hit me up. Email me, trueplayerspodcast@gmail.com. It's TRUPLAYAZ podcast@gmail.com. I will definitely have all the audios uploaded for you by tomorrow. All the audios for all the episodes will be up for season 8. So, like I said, keep doing the right thing, ladies and gentlemen. Keep doing the right thing. You can't force people to talk to you. You can't force people to give you good energy. But it's up to you to make the decision to cut them off. And I made that decision on somebody to cut them off. No one is supposed to be abused. No one is supposed to be abused by anybody for any reason, whether it's subliminally or figuratively, or just coming at you any old way, or giving you bad energy for no reason. There's no reason for that whatsoever. So no one should ever accept that from anybody. So you make the conscious decision to move on, cut off. That's it. Move on. No reason to respond to anybody's subs. No reason to even do that either. It's a waste of your energy. So on that note, it's your man Big Dom signing off for the podcast. I see y'all hopefully Thursday with Joey G as we now give you the real episode on what's going on with the WWE and African American wrestlers and why they get in the shaft on the WWE. On that note, we're going to sign off on this podcast. Next time, people, peace.